Hi, I'm Lainey. If this is your first time seeing me, I am the owner and creator and the main supervisor for Upper Room Prints. I also have three coworkers or three staff members. One of them just popped into frame. That's Neville. Behind me is Sebi, and then somewhere in this house causing chaos somewhere is Jenny. I wanted to do a little bit of a different video today. I wanted to give you all the history or the beginning, I guess, of Upper Room Prince and why I started it. So, where was I before Upper Room Prince started? I have actually had several small businesses in my life. I grew up in a very entrepreneur mindset family. My father ran a construction company for about 50 years. Before that, he ran a gas station and things like that. I mean, he did everything, right? He has since passed away, and I was very much a daddy's girl, so there's that big hole in my heart now because he's no longer here to help guide me, even though, I'm very much an adult at 44 years old. Several businesses I've had have always centered around some kind of graphic design work. I've run transcription companies where I hired other transcriptionists to transcribe for me. This is before there were websites for that sort of thing. I've had jobs where I just did a lot of background graphics for different companies, a lot of freelance work. I lived in Missouri for about 6 years, and I lived in a very, very tiny house. For you all that do not know, I am on disability. I am chronically ill, and I also have autism and some other issues that kind of have debilitated me over the years. So, even though you may see a lot of work being done, I actually don't get to do nearly as much as I feel like I should because of my chronic illness. So, living in Missouri, it gave me the ability to live really, really below my means. The area I was living in Southeast Missouri, Piedmont, Um, I lived in a little tiny house, 350 square feet. I moved there with my son, and at the time, just two of the staff members, Neville and Sebi. Jenny arrived at some point during that time, probably like a year and a half after we moved there. But I was bored. For you all that don't know me very well, you don't know that I enjoy doing things. I don't like just sitting around and not, creating something, drawing, or something like that. And I wanted to make a little bit more money than the amount that disability was giving me, because disability doesn't really pay that much, if you all don't know. Um, and I figured that I could at least do things when I was able. Um, so I started with Amazon KDP. Um, I'm not going to go into the whole history of Amazon at KDP, but basically it was I still have some of the books and things that I wrote through Amazon KDP, like journals and self help books. Not literally self help books, more like workbook sort of things. Um, and I do still sell on there. So if you ever look for Leany Christian, you'll see some of my works there. So after that, I was like, I'm I'm not really feeling that creative itch, I guess, for lack of a better word, that I really wanted. So I started looking into making stickers. And that's where Upper Room Prints was born. I started looking on Facebook Marketplace because, once again, I'm on disability, so I don't have money. And I looked on Facebook Marketplace for a cameo silhouette um, and four cameo silhouette four. And I found one that a guy who just wasn't using his. So I decided to get it from him, and it was quite a bit of a discount. He had only used it a couple of times, so it was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it, and I had done a lot of research on what kind of cutting machine I wanted to get. After a lot of research, which I can go into in another video if y'all are interested, about the differences between the cutting machines, but that's the one I ended up going with. And I made my first sticker, and several stickers followed after that. But at the same time, I opened an Etsy shop and I made some digital files, and I will put on the screen they are, or they're actually still there, and I still make sales on them. I don't know if I have them on my website right now, but have I do have all of them on my Etsy. Um, Basically because Etsy has an easier download file sort of situation. But that was the first thing I put on my Etsy store, and that was the first sale I made. I made quite a few sales from that, and now I've just kind of grown and expanded from there. The moment I started to experiment with making things, I, like I said, I come from a very entrepreneur family, but I neglected to say that I also come from a very crafty family. Um, my mother would always make our birthday cards. Um, and but she would make birthday cards for everyone, and our family was always known as the crafty um, family. And we I grew up pretty much with a pencil in my hand. When I was a child, I actually used to make my own activity books, like with mazes and word searches and stuff like that. um, so maybe I was always meant to do this sort of thing. um, but as this has always, been not just my career, but my hobby. And I have a really bad habit of turning my hobbies into businesses. So now I have to make sure that I don't do that. So I still do have other hobbies, luckily, like video games. I love playing video games. So I don't. I at one point I was thinking about making a video game, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. And it's okay, and I won't bore you all with all of my list of hobbies. I've actually been forbid to have any more or get any new hobbies for right now. So I've been asked several times what the meaning behind the name Upper Room Prince is. I don't remember her name exactly. I think it's Lucia something. I can't remember exactly. But she is a violinist, and she, at one point, I don't know if she still does, went on tour with Josh Groban. And for a very long time, I was very, very much into Josh Groban. And I love violin music, I love piano music, instrumental, um, as well as several other types. But anyway, um, so she had a song on her album called Music from a Farther Room. And for some reason, as an autistic person, I'll hear a word. I don't even know if this has anything to do with autism. I'll hear a word or a phrase, and it'll make my brain jump to something that is sort of connected to that word. So I heard farther room, and I was like, upper room. Upper room sounds like a really good name for a business. That's where Upper Room Prints came from. I have been Upper Room 3D Graphics because I did have a 3D graphics company, and I still sell um, those on TurboSquid, I think it's called. Um, I've been Upper Room Graphics, which is the KDP, Amazon KDP stuff, and now Amazon, or not Amazon, and now Upper Room Prints, which is everything I do now. So the umbrella of the company is Upper Room, and then all the other little sub things are graphics, 3D, and prints. I actually didn't have an original plan for Upper Room Prints because, like I said, it was just a hobby, something to fill my time. Um, so I didn't have like a goal or a plan, which is very much not like me, for what I wanted to do, but now I do. um, I don't have a huge like 5-year game plan. I just want to make things that I like and I hope other people like. So that's pretty much what the plan is now.
That's
Is that him sneezing?
yeah, that's amazing. You know that?
I didn't know what the noise was.
It's so mean to him.
Jimmy!
I saw a little gray paw pop out.
So obviously time has passed. I look a little different than I did at the beginning of this video. It is now 3 p.m. and I started recording this around 11. But I ran out of time. So I had to do, a few meetings and do some work and stuff like that. So I'm back now. And I didn't feel like, putting my headband back on because it's tight and I'm cold. So you get sweater leany. So the next part of this video is like the early days when I was trying to figure everything out. Uh, the first product I made, which I was talking about earlier, was a digital product, and it was a set of two. Um, they're called like bathroom printable bundles, and they have like 3 different sizes to make it easier for people to print, and two different three different formats that you can print, like a PDF, a PNG, or an SVG. And it has these printouts where you can have like a word search. I think it's like an anagram. I can't remember what they're called. Um, but it also has just like some silly bathroom art that comes with it. It's just black and white things that you can do while you're in the bathroom doing your stuff. So that's what that is. That was the first thing I put up on my Etsy. And it's still popular. It's not nearly as popular as it was when I first did it, of course, but it is still popular. Um, and that was also my first sale. So, and after that, I think I ended up doing um, some other SVG files because I was really trying to find some things to do that didn't require me to produce products because this was before I got the Silhouette Cameo. But once I got that, all bets were off, right? I have always struggled a little bit with pricing and marketing. And so like I did a lot of research by looking at YouTube videos and looking at blog posts about from other small businesses that make handmade things or that do stationery type things. So I was able to figure out pricing. I also used something like I think it was called Everbee to look at the price models for different Etsy products. I have since moved away from just Etsy, mainly because I didn't want to put all of my eggs in one basket. And also, if you were to look back at some of my videos, you'll see, I think it was a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years, I can't remember exactly, where Etsy shut down my account. So I don't like having sorry, so I do have my account back now, but I don't like having all of my eggs in one basket. And also, I didn't feel comfortable having Etsy have that much control over my business. So I decided to open up a Shopify, and I'm also doing markets. So that's how I've gradually grown and changed my business over time. I've only really been doing markets or in-person events for the last year and a month or so. So I'm still very new to that. And if you all were ever interested in seeing my transition from, first starting out in markets and what I do now, because it was a big growth over the last year. I would be happy to show you all. Hopefully that didn't pick up. I would be happy to show you all exactly what I've done and like how I've sourced products and how I've gotten my branding and image set up so that when people see the color combinations and stuff like that, they know it's Upper Room Prince. Things have really changed over time. Um, like I said, I started out with just um, digital download type things, and then I went to stickers, and the stickers were just regular run of the mill stickers. And I noticed they weren't doing all that well, so that I started doing um, mental health and autism related stickers. Um, and then I moved on to like emergency type stickers like that. Those two items are still on my Etsy shop because they're what I consider my evergreen items. I do have them on my website as well, and they're actually cheaper on my website. But you know, because there's no fees, But the Etsy, but yeah, that it just makes it easier to keep them on both. And I do sell a few on my website, but mostly I get like 3 to 4 orders for just those types of items on my Etsy store. I have several types of characters that I've been slowly introducing. The first character I made was 2 years ago. Yes, it was 2 years ago, and I was visiting my son, and he asked me to make him a frog bookmark. My son has always been very motivating to my creative process, and I was just kind of drawing just to draw because I didn't, I was visiting him. It was a vacation, so I was like, all right, sure, fine. So after I drew it, he was like, "You should name him Edgar." And I was like, "Okay, that's good. That's cute." So I drew Edgar, and he ended up being the first character that I introduced into my shop. Originally, I hadn't really thought about having characters in my shop, but I think they're a good addition. From there, I that same year I made a coloring book, and the coloring book had this grumpy cat in it. And I know grumpy cat itself is like a trademark term or copyright term. So I was like, well, he's Mr. Grumps. He also he's based off of my cat Sebi, who always has this like grumpy expression on his face, unless he wants me to pick him up. But he's actually not grumpy at all. But Mr. Grumps is actually very grumpy, and I love him. you know. And then I now have introduced um, Wonton, the autistic panda, um, Lily, who is the black cat that is in my logo, and this spring I'm introducing. Wow, I'm hitting mic. I'm not used to having this on me. Um, let's try this. Hello, hello. Okay. And this spring, I am introducing 2 new characters. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen them. It's Gertrude and Myrtle. At this moment, I can't remember which one is which because I am tired. Um, but you would have seen them on the last video. You would have seen the llama. I think that's Gertrude. Gertrude is a llama, I believe. So, and then Myrtle is the chicken. They're best friends. Gertrude says nothing ever, and Myrtle is the chatterbox. So there you go. I really enjoy drawing, and I have to make sure I foster that desire to continue to draw because when you do this after a while, combining the entrepreneurial or the business aspect with the art aspect is very difficult. You will get burned out very, very fast. So I have started making sure that take time to just draw and not for a product, to just draw. Sometimes I'll post it, sometimes I won't, but it's something that I feel has helped quite a bit in regards to keeping that passion for my craft. Um, I learned illustration mainly just from trial and error. Um, like I said, I think I said anyway, that I went to school and I have a degree in graphic design. So with graphic design, I had to, show that I could actually draw. But also, um, it helps me with the marketing setup because um, a lot of the classes that I took while I was in college, which was very, very long time ago, it showed you how to do like designing boxes and designing marketing material. Um, and that is actually an aspect that I highly enjoy in regards to running a business. So where a lot of people are like, I hate doing the packaging, and I'm like, no, I love it. It's what brings it all together, and what makes it eye catching more than just the product itself. People love packaging. They always say don't judge a book by its cover, but the cover is extremely important. And how I learned to make journals and stickers and everything else, YouTube. It's 100% YouTube. I didn't know how to use the machines. I didn't know what I needed to buy in order to make like coil bound journals. Um, I didn't know any of that, so I had to figure it out, and I looked on YouTube. I am a research queen. I love researching stuff and figuring out how to do stuff. So I would highly suggest YouTube. And if you have the ability and the money, I would also highly suggest Skillshare. I have used. Is that Jenny again? Where are you? I heard the little whimper. Hi, Jen Jen. Do you want to come up? Oh, let's see. I'm gonna have to put you on this side so I don't mess with the microphone, okay? She's probably gonna mess with the microphone, but that's okay. Right, Jen Jen? Hi, sweetheart. So that actually brings me to the next point, um, and that is the staff. This is one of the staff members. This is Jin Jin. She showed up at my back door when I was living in Missouri, right, like a day after we had a tornado. So we playfully say that she rode the tornado to her new home. So she didn't have a tip or anything, and we asked our neighbors if that was their cat, and no one knew where she came from. So she's now my cat. And that was 7, 8 years ago. So yeah, she was a tiny baby at that time, and now she will be 8 next month. We just gave her a birthday because, like I said, she appeared. And then we have the originals, which is Sebi and Neville. They are brothers. I don't think Severus is behind me anymore, is he? Oh, yes, he is. There he is. Neville likes to make an appearance very loudly from time to time. But they are my staff. They are my supervisors. They are my little helpers. Um, they give me a lot of inspiration for a lot of the images that I draw with their little cute positions. They are definitely an inspiration for things to draw and just to, ground me, I guess, and to just make me feel more relaxed. And I love. I'm a cat lady, crazy cat lady. I will gladly, attach that title. What I focus on now um, is just to continue to do what I love and to continue to create what I want to create. I'm not really trying to cater to anyone specifically. Um, I've always said that if someone likes what I make, I'm glad, but mostly it's for myself. I'm trying to continue to maintain the thought that this is a hobby, even though it's also a business. So I never plan on having like more employees besides the staff. I might get more staff members that in that regard in one day, but I won't have, you know, assistant or more people that draw stickers for me. It's my artwork. It's gonna continue to be a small business. I don't know if I even have the desire to be as big as like catnip. Um, she's great, but I don't know if I want that overhead of having a warehouse, you know? I like my little basement, my cave, you know? The mixture of items I have that are handmade items and they tell stories and they have characters, that's pretty much who I am and what I want to continue to do. I'm very whimsical, I'm very cottage core, and I love textile. I love to be able to feel what I'm doing. And I'm not just talking about like physically feel it, but emotionally feel it as well. I do have a lot that I'm looking forward to. Um, I mentioned in my 2025 goals that I was going to do a Kickstarter, or I really wanted to do a Kickstarter. And surprise, that's in the works. It'll be coming out soon, and I will be making a video about it soon as well. I also have three more collections coming out for this year, or three collections coming out this year. And I have another collaboration. Well, no, three more collaborations that I'm working on for this year as well, besides the one you already know about. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm trying to juggle all that without burning out. Let me tell you, that's difficult. That's really, really difficult. Um, I have to make sure that I take breaks. There's even a day in this week where I scheduled no work besides, my normal day off. And yes, I do work 6 days a week usually. But it is also no more than 5 hours max. And even on Saturday, I only work 3 hours max. So I am trying very, very hard to continue to learn to listen to what I need without getting to that point of being so completely burned out and so tired that it's just pointless. Um, and I encourage you all to do the same thing. Just take it as slow as you can, but as fast as you can, if that makes any sense at all. I want to thank you all for watching. Um, and if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more, feel free to stick around. See you next time. Bye.